might be wondering why it's so dark in Jared's room. Simply because we've taken 6 hours to record this thing, and it's 1 a.m. in the morning. But the beauty of it is that we're committed to the cause, and no matter the time of day and the amount of effort we need to put in, how we're feeling, we're always going to commit to the cause. So just thought that should be known prior to we jump into this excellent podcast we do every single week. Bit of a PSA, I guess, on everything. So yeah.
I also would like to make it known that it is 9:27 p.m. And it has, however, taken a very long time to get to this recording purely because my internet decides it doesn't want to work. And it's just things that happen. I suppose I'm literally that's hence the background because I am as close to the router as humanly possible. It is literally right here. I can touch it, and yet still the internet decides it doesn't like me. So
Bit of a euphemism for how Essendon are trying to make finals, but yet they still can't do the job.
no matter how close they get, it just doesn't quite tick all the way through, does it?
No, doesn't quite connect, Darren.
Oh, what were we even worried about? This is going to be perfect. Recording issues doesn't matter. Our good stuff always comes out.
Smash the goddamn glass, I reckon.
That's a play of the game. That is the play of the game. The impossible angle, and he puts it through. And Portland. Danger, 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 danger. Butler, 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 Butler. Get around him. Get around him. Edge of the seat.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 57. Jared, we're here another week, and we've peaked already in this recording. So it's only downhill from here, but how are you?
I am doing okay. I've been sick this week. Thought I was getting better, then I was not. However, we are getting through as best we can. And now, my favorite time of the week, as I like to call it, where I get to record on a Sunday night dealing with internet issues. But sometimes that means the screen freezes and I get to just see your face for an extended period of time, which is always nice. So I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Maybe the cutest thing you've ever said. Tick that box. Thank you very much. See you later. I'm pretty good. Not as sore. Hungover. And yeah, it's sort of rinse and repeat for me. Life just definitely continues to be the Monday to Sunday vibe,
But it's
to
how
be
the
honest.
schools are at times. The nice sort of rinse repeat, get home at 5:30 a.m. or 6 a.m. in your case last night, or I say this morning, and then get up, do the review, roll your way through to now.
At least the cycle of that includes Port winning. So like
But
it's all positive, I guess. I might feel sorry for myself, or really just every part of me wants to be 6 feet under in this sort of feeling. But to wake up and know that my team's won at least, it's a good feeling. So, and you would have the same,
I was
like
gonna say,
you've just had a good victory as well. So like
it's one of the rare
it's really
weekends.
happy days at this table.
It's one of the rare weekends where both our teams have won, yet it kind of like usually we're like, yeah, like both teams have won, and this time it's kind of like, like we won. That's good. Like the Saints one is like we beat Richmond at Marvel. Great. The Port one was pretty good, admittedly. Like at least it was like a good game. No, that's a lie. It wasn't a good game. It was an ugly game, but at least it was a good finish. And you've like more like you're putting another nail into that sort of finals bracket kind of thing. So at least there was that. But usually we're like, come on, and this time it's like, there's more exciting things happening around the league than our teams.
Yeah, it's definitely a instead of a oh yes, come on, Port one, it's more of a oh yeah, we did it
That's
again, and that's
good.
pretty much the norm now, I think.
I was gonna say we're getting way too used to the winning, I think.
We may never lose again. Like that's I'm putting that into the universe. Like we talk a lot about positive affirmations in our friendship and try and put it into our lives. And I'm going to bring it to this podcast. And I'm simply saying right now that Port Adelaide will not lose again. Like I have already booked off the last weekend in September, supposedly footy trip. You know, that's besides the point. Like it's pretty good. So, but you know, the rest of the league is it's almost comical how it's going at the moment.
I was going to say, I think the funniest thing that could have possibly happened, first off, because it seems like a topic that we talk about every single week. This is a thing. We do a broad topic now called just things we learnt, because it's just things we learnt, because it's just the best way to go about it, because there's just that much going on. My things we learnt is that no matter how many times you think a team is done for, something will always happen that'll kick them back into gear. My example of this weekend is Essendon losing to Gold Coast on Saturday night, right? Which, by the way, hilarious, really funny. We'll get to that, I'm sure. But that happened and everyone's like, Essendon's season is done. It's over. Good luck to you, blah, blah, blah. And then, right, Carlton lose and then the Dogs lose. And all of a sudden, Essendon is still 2 points away from eighth. And it's like, what the
Yeah.
like 2 points away from eighth with 2 games to go. Like they're not done. They're right there again.
And to counter that is almost like I've never seen a team have what I've seen is a 115-point turnaround from the week before, and the Swans come out and almost in the space of 10 minutes have saved the entire season for them. Because if they lose to Collingwood, I don't think they bounce back, but they find a way.
Now all of a sudden it's like you go Sydney.
Yeah, now they're just back on track, and they may never lose again either until grand final day when Port beat them. But that's besides the point, you know. It's incredible. Nah, in all seriousness, yeah, it's incredible to see. 1 week a team's just so shit, the other team is dominant, and then the week after that team that's dominant is shit, and the other team wins. So like it's mind blowing.
It's truly mind blowing. And like, sometimes it's not even week to week. As we saw in the first 5 games of this round, the team that was winning at 3/4 time ended up losing the game. The only time that didn't happen in between Friday and Saturday was Essendon, which again, lol. But like all the other ones, like it happens in the space of a game. A team will be dominating. Brisbane kicked 5 of the first 6 goals against the Giants and lost. Like it's just so strange. Such a strange round of football, to be honest. I woke up from a nap on Saturday and all these results were happening and I was like, what's going on? Like, what is happening in the football right now?
It's I'll give you the latter because this will give you a fair indication of what's happening. And it's starting to gap. There is just starting to gap. At the wrong time of the year, I think, for some teams. But it's Sydney on top by a game. Then it's Port, Giants, Cats as the top 4, which is just a unique top 4 in itself.
Yeah.
Brisbane 5th on their own. They're a game ahead. Freo who's 6th. The Dogs are then half a game behind Freo in 7th. And the same with the Hawks breaking their top 8 virginity this year and entering. So they have made it. So far, they're a percentage ahead of Carlton, who are 9th, who I'll get to in a second. Essendon, lol, they'll get through. They are 10th with a shit percentage. Collingwood are like hanging on by a loose fingernail.
Yeah.
Then the rest, obviously making up the numbers for the rest of the year, but Gold Coast, Melbourne, St Kilda, Adelaide, West Coast, North Melbourne, and Richmond, who, by the way, are still somehow in it to not win the wooden spoon. So
they looked pretty ordinary today. I have no notes on the Saints game at all, basically, except for the fact that Richmond are pretty ordinary and they're not going to get much better for a little while, I think. But they're pretty ordinary. They're a pretty ordinary football side. But the fact that they're still not guaranteed a wooden spoon is very, very funny. So.
Well, as they say, life doesn't guarantee anything, but the one thing that is guaranteed in life is the unpredictability of it. So
that was very profound by you. How about that? My goodness.
Yep, not just a drunk head who loves to get on the piss every week. You know what
Quote
I
of the
mean?
week, that one. Write that one in the book.
Yes, no, my quote was fantastic. But I don't really like to expose the amount of IQ that I have because I don't want to put pressure on everyone else.
That's fair.
So,
Mask it. Mask it. Don't, don't have to load it up.
I'm not good.
Please do.
Oh, that's a weird request. Anyway, so a couple of things I learned from this round in particular. So first thing I learned is that the AFL finals without Carlton, Collingwood, and Essendon has the potential to be one of the best ever.
One of the best ever.
My reasoning is I read out the ladder before. The unpredictability of that top four. There's no genuine informed team in the comp right now. You look at anyone that plays a home game, and they're probably not, an absolute certainty to win it.
So,
And if you stop at it right now, the best team in that ladder, in that top 8, is Hawthorn.
that's true. I was going to say Brisbane, but I forget that they lost this weekend. So now this is again, like I think I said it. I don't even know what week I said it. This is one of those years, and it's like a 2016 Dogs year where anybody can come from anywhere in the 8 and just get on a run. Especially if the Hawks I don't know what kind of situation this would fall into. Say they play like Geelong at the G in the first week of finals. Say Geelong finish 5th, Hawks finish 8th, right? They can take that win. Then say they play a semi-final against, I don't even know who the fuck's going to be in the top 4. But say they don't have to travel, say it's like a Giants or like I don't know, whatever the case may be. If they can manage to get a couple MCG games in a row, the Hawks could just fly through and manage to make their way into a dangerous position to get to the end. Same with the Dogs. I was gonna say if the Dogs play a Marvel game, it's the final. It's not gonna play a game at Marvel. But if the Dogs just get on that kind of run, they can get there as well. It's a dangerous proposition this year because I think for so much of the year, people were talking about how the top 2 had it all made out, how it was all set, and now it's like anybody in the entire 8 can win, and you just got to get on a run. And good luck to you, to be honest.
I agree. And the funny thing is, I still look at this. The top 5 for me I think, are solid. They're not leaving. But anyone else from 6th down can leave that top 8. Fremantle. The ones for me that I'm just looking at and going, you're interesting. You've just lost a home game to the Cats. You play Port Adelaide in the last round, which could very much be the potential to make the 8 for them. Because the next week, it bloody loads for me.
Yeah.
I think they've got a tough game. They have the Giants.
Dangerous. That is a danger game. Freo, I've never been good on Freo this year because I I was burnt by Freo last year in that I rated them so highly to begin the year that by a certain point I realized they were bad. So this year I was like, I'm going to go the opposite and I'm gonna not rate them at all. And now they're playing really well, but I'm scared to rate them again. So I'm kind of just trying to even out the middle and be like, maybe they're okay. But I saw a thing and it was like Freo might not even make finals. I was like, sure, that's an overreaction. But then you look at the rest of the 8 and you're like, yeah, Freo might not make finals. Fuck, this is really dangerous. They got a really tough run home. They've probably got one of the toughest run homes of anybody. Tough. And I don't know if they've got the star power to do it, to be honest.
Yeah. And you compare it to the run home of, say, Hawthorn and Carlton, who have pretty easy run home. I think West Coast and St Kilda are a tough ask for the Blues, I think, in that last round. But Hawthorn play Richmond, I think West Coast or North in a final game. So I think Hawthorn are an absolute lock now to make it. The Dogs play North Melbourne next week, so you think they get across the line there and that secures their top 8 spot. It really comes down to potentially a Freo Carlton
Essendon,
playoff.
I suppose. I don't think Essendon's gonna get there.
Are you seeing Essendon beat Sydney at Marvel?
I think Essendon is one loss away. Like once halftime of this Sydney game comes up, I think you're pretty set that Essendon's not going to make it. Um, but yeah, I think it's Carlton and Freo, which if you'd have told me in round two of this year the race for the final spot in the eight, not like a top four spot, the race for the final spot in the eight was going to come down to Carlton and Freo, I would be like, what are you even talking about? And the fact that Hawthorn probably have it locked in. I don't want to say they have it locked in because I'm pretty sure that I thought the Dogs had it locked in last year and they royally fucked it. So I don't want to like be like they've got it locked in, but the way that Hawthorn are playing, they're playing better than the Dogs were this time last year. So you could pretty much put them in there. Blues and Freo, however, I don't know what team I would rather be right now. I think Freo is the better team right now.
I'd rather be Freo because you're playing Port Adelaide in Perth. Like that's a lot better ask than say a Geelong or a Sydney that you're playing over there or anything like that. So I think you back yourselves in, and then Carlton, who are just yeah, I have never seen. I mean, they've done a Carlton really. I mean, they've just royally done themselves in. So and getting all the injuries and stuff like that. I don't know why or how this has happened to them because they were flowing. They were like
Yeah,
in the firing line. And then
everything.
it's almost like Sydney and Carlton drank out of the same drinking tap and just lost every bit of talent they had. And I'm not sure what happened, but yeah, it's crazy. And I'm like sitting here going, are you starting to see the gap? Just grow a little bit. But as
Yeah,
you said, like it's unpredictable. Any team could win and any team could fumble the bag on the way home in these last two rounds. But
definitely. It's
incredible.
Yeah, and like the Carlton thing is like you could not script a worse result out of this weekend. You needed to beat Hawthorn, and they didn't. You also got five injuries, one of them to arguably your best player, probably your second best player, realistically. Charlie Kerner, probably the most important player to them, the guy that's going to kick all their goals, could now be out for the year. Definitely going to be out for next week at least. Well, if like that's what I'm saying. Like so now, if Kerner doesn't play next week and he misses the year, the game against St Kilda, which Carlton fans hate because we're a bogey team for them, like every single year, that now becomes fucking stressful because it's like now you're also taking on a team not fully manned against a St Kilda team that's relatively pretty healthy and also in good form. And now it's like, uh-oh, they fucked kind of. And it's like, it's weird how the years can change like this. And I've seen it all over Twitter today, all over everything today. 4 or 5 weeks ago, there was all this talk about Collingwood, Carlton, and Essendon could be three of the top four, and now they're 9, 10th, and 11. Like it's unbelievable. Footy is the greatest sport ever. It's so good.
We said it last week. We were talking about it like with Sydney and stuff over the last few weeks. Like momentum is the key part. And I think, and this is why I say anyone that sort of finishes in that spot that makes the eight outside from now, you look at the teams like we said, Carlton, Collingwood, Essendon, Hawthorn are now in there, but like Carlton, Collingwood, and Essendon are the three teams that have dropped off. They have no momentum. So even
No.
if they sneak in with a win in the last couple of rounds or whatever the case may be, they're the teams that won't do any damage. And I know people say on the finals day it could do
Never
anything, and
know. Yeah.
Collingwood are they're reigning premiers, and Carlton they're on their day are still good enough. Essendon wouldn't know what September is, but like they, it's that's what I mean. Like they're starting to see the gap because these teams are fading. Because now we can start to knuckle down and see who can possibly even take this ever so slightly. Just wish Sportsbet would take my money for Hawthorn.
I Hawthorn's premiership odds. I would love to see the drastic fucking dive that the Sportsbet odds have taken in the last not very long. Because my God, there would be some like they would have been like $500 about 10 weeks ago, and now they're probably like 25 to be honest. Like it's probably slim pickings, which is incredible to be honest.
They have the capability to dismantle a side, dismantle your confidence, and
Man,
you have to watch it
I can't know
live.
anything about it. I was like watching today. There was a passage of play down the wing that I saw, and Jack Riord on commentary. Who, by the way, just quietly love Jack Riord on commentary. I think he's actually he's very very switched on. Anyway, Hawthorn take a mark on one side of the like so like they've kicked it in like from the wing kind of thing. They've taken a mark, and you can hear Riord go, "They're going to get them on the other side here," and then they just go like bang bang bang, like just the quickest move ever. Like Impey gets it on the wing, kicks it long, lands in Chol's hands, whatever. Like having a shot, and I'm just like. It's quick, like it's this. They like no matter how quick you are as a backline, you're not stopping that. You cannot physically stop it because they just move and they handball and they kick quick and it's just ridiculous. They are a ridiculous football side. Sam Mitchell, here we go. Here's the stinger. This is like we're always talking about like a thing. Sam Mitchell is probably the coach of the year.
You've stolen the words out of my fucking mouth. No word of a lie. I was going to say that word for word. There is just
We're just
100% agree. I don't see that there is anyone else because everyone else in that top eight like is pretty much been there for a while. You know, they've been expected to do what they're doing, and I would have given it to Sam Mitchell even if they didn't make the eight. But like the fact that they're going to, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna lock them in. Like I'm not gonna dance around the fact that they're playing finals, and if they miss finals, then it would be the biggest anticlimactical form run ever. But yeah, like that's incredible. That you were thinking that because I'm dead set. On the same flow.
Yeah.
Like we've seen the praise that he gets from the media and everyone else. Kane Corns loves him. But like if he
Good.
does anything this year in finals that's damaging enough, I'm scared. Like I'm a little bit.
I'm scared for the next
Hawk.
15 years of Hawk football. I'm
They're
scared
gonna hawk two on the competition,
for 15 years, and I know it. I just fucking know it because it's just my entire life has been dominated by fucking Hawthorn and Geelong. And I'm sick of it. And I know it's just going to keep fucking happening. I look at Geelong and I look at Hawthorn and I'm like, why are you good? Like, you guys aren't meant to be good anymore. You're meant to be shit now. That's what's meant to happen. You're meant to have your period of success and then be bad. And now I'm looking at both of them and I'm like, stop it, please. Let me have a turn. I would like a turn at being good once ever. Sam Mitchell is terrifying. Last year I was adamant that Voss shouldn't be coach of the year because it shouldn't be how you can turn your team around from bad in the year to good in the year. Like it should have been from the year before to this year kind of thing. Sam Mitchell has done both. They were bad last year and then they were bad to start the year and now they're good. So he's ticking every single box that you possibly can and they're probably going to be good for God knows.
Anywho, enough about Hawthorn before they hawk two all over my bloody dreams. Just a couple of lighthearted things as I drop my pen. This is how well we're going tonight. Like this is the most. It's just. I'm at the point where I'm just really sitting here and I'm just like, fuck it. I don't care what we say. I couldn't give a
Makes
shit.
the best content though. This is what makes the best content. The most chaotic of circumstances makes the best thing.
You know what fucking was chaotic? The stupid seagulls flying about the stupid MCG. What the fuck are you doing? What is it? There's no other light you can go and see. You gotta see the big fucking beaming light with the stadium and 17 people in it. You gotta fucking go ruin that. There was more seagulls than people there. It's absolutely disgraceful, by the way, Melbourne fans, that you can even turn up to your football club and when they need you, you're not even there. But fucking you gotta let the seagulls go in there. Fucking Steve flying about all the fucking time. I'm sick of it. But they put wires on there for what? For them to stay in? What the fuck? My team's got to go over there. It's Saturday night footy at the MCG. It's supposed to be prestige. I'm looking at white birds fly about on one wing, and we can't even find space because of the stupid fucks.
You ranting about Seagulls not what I thought was going to happen, but that might be the greatest rant.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, why? Why? There's no chips for you there. You no one's eating them because there's no one there, Jared. There's no one there. They're the
It
most
always,
fickle supporters in the world, by the way, the D's. Like,
yeah, I was going to
seriously.
say the fucking D supporters, man. Jesus Christ.
I know a couple, right? And they're very good friends and they turn up every single week. So barring them, and they know who they are, barring them, you little weird, freaky, rich acting people with your cheese boards, you don't turn up because it's too cold or you're not making the eight. Oh, but we can float about to bloody Perth and go watch our 2021 grand final and repeat, can't we? No, you can't turn up the MCG. That's twice in a row now that they've had Saturday night footy against teams that, yeah, don't have a big travelling fan base, GWS and Port. The Port fans were louder than the D's fans
Yeah.
Saturday
No.
night. That's because we got voices.
And not them. I firstly on everything as a whole, I love the correlation between the Seagulls being at the ground and no one being there, like people wise, because it's really funny seeing the contrast and it allows for jokes like this where you can be like, there is more Seagulls at the game than there are people, which I'm dead set fucking sure there was. Secondly, I don't know, like obviously we're in different states, right? I'm gonna give you a little insight into Melbourne on Saturday night, right? It was a fucking perfect day. It was an absolute blinder of a day. I was hot playing football. Like it was a hot day in Melbourne. There was absolutely zero excuse for there to be no one there. The last game that there was no one out. Those are the Giants one or whatever. People were like, oh, it was cold, it was raining, like people didn't want to go and travel. What the fuck was the excuse on Saturday when it was a perfect Melbourne day and they were just like, nah, 18,000. There you go.
I tell you what it was. So pincy little fans, right, that travel there to go watch their team, right? They were playing Port Adelaide, who are a monstrous football club who have just beaten the top side by 112 points. And you know what? We didn't get out of second gear on Saturday night. What, you didn't turn up because you thought you were going to get pumped by 200? No, we're not Geelong down at Skilled Stadium. That doesn't happen. We don't do that. But in all seriousness, like we can take pot shots and stuff, and I have nothing against the D's fans other than not turning up.
Yeah.
But like, what is it? What could it possibly? You just mentioned it's the perfect night. It's perfect for footy. Take your family out Saturday night out, and you're still going to be home by 10:30, 11. It was a shitty game, but like it was close. You had an opportunity to win.
I have no idea. Especially like they weren't even out. I mean, technically they're out of the finals race, technically speaking, I suppose. But like they're not
at that stage.
They're not a bad football team. Like you can still go and watch them kind of thing. I don't know. Melbourne just I don't know. I think
I heard on the radio, BT was taking the piss out of them. Like they locked up the whole top tier of the MCG. Now, the MCG we're talking about on a Saturday night. Saturday afternoon, okay, no worries. I understand. Or Sunday afternoon, whatever the case may be. But it's things like this. And then the fixture next year will be announced and it's like, oh, the D's have all day games and no night games.
They're not going to get a night game at all next year.
Like, this is why people.
I'm fully on the move Melbourne to Marvel train. Like I'm fully on it. I know that Melbourne fans hate that because they're all MCC people, so it completely ruins their entire plans. But I think if you're going to have two primetime Saturday night games in a row with genuinely, like we said, more Seagulls there than people, then there comes a point in time where you have to be like, let's stop taking the piss here. Either that or go and play at fucking Casey or something like that. like go and play at Casey. Go and play a game at fucking, I don't know, anywhere. But you can't. It's a bad look for the game. Like people take the piss out of like the A-League when there's attendances like that. And now you look at it's like our game is looking like that. And like people have been talking this year about how we're breaking attendance records and stuff like that. It does not look like it when you're getting games like that shit out there and you're like, what is that? Like that is horrendously bad. I'll take pot shots on those. I don't really know that many, so that's fine. But like, I don't know what it is. And like Saints fans don't go to a lot of games. Like that's like Saints fans don't have a big fan base, but we've known that. We haven't won a flag in fucking 60 years. Whatever. You guys won a flag 3 years ago. Like you can't get 30,000 people to a Saturday night game. You can get 18. Great. Awesome. Great work, Melbourne.
Oh, I've got one word to say to you, D's fans.
Hawks
Actually,
game.
no. Mine? Mine?
What?
Mine? Is that mine, cheese board? Is that mine? Got a ticket for the game? Mine?
This is not where I thought.
What does the MCC stand for again?
uh, Melbourne Cricket
Mel-
Club, I'm sure.
Or Mine Cricket Club? My cheese and crackers?
That's the content we get at 1:30 a.m. Everybody.
I really can't wait to put this out and just get to the point where I've just said, fuck it. And Seagulls has single-handedly saved this episode.
That is unbelievable. We've nailed it.
We've dealt with like a lot of turmoil here. The glitches, the internet connection, and everything. It's just gotten to the point where Seagulls have saved our life. And who would have thought they saved the attendance Saturday night and they've saved the Glass Table podcast now.
We would have covered it. We would have got there.
Just like they covered the wing on Sunday night. Anyway, anything else you learnt, Jared?
Anything else I learned? I learned that my prediction the other week was absolutely correct. Rowan Marshall is an All-Australian lock. You can all go and get fucked. He is an absolute superstar. No one can doubt that from me. No one can take that from me anymore. I think it is Rowan Marshall and I think it is Tristan Xerri. Max Gawn's been great. He's missed a bit of games. Don't think he's been as good as the other two. Take it to the bank. Rowan Marshall should be wearing an All-Australian blazer this year. And if he isn't, I'll be very upset. But he is so good at football and you can't take that away from me. Rowan Marshall's a freak.
Rowan Marshall, as a captain in my fantasy side, has single-handedly brought me to a semi-final weekend preliminary final weekend, actually, where the potential to make a final spot and earn some money is well and truly alive. He was my first pick in one of the 4 draft leagues that I did. And people were like, are you really going to take Rowan Marshall at pick 3? Like your first pick 3, Rowan Marshall. He's the poster boy for the stupid, sexy Pairs fantasy team.
And let me fucking tell you, what a poster boy he is.
Print that shit on a poster and stick it all over my room. I couldn't give a stuff. That's my Rowan Marshall.
Yep. He's a fucking superstar. And no one can take that away from me anymore. I've been saying it for years. And now everyone's like, oh, he's Rowan Marshall at All Australia Ruckman. And I'm like, you can all get fucked, everybody. I was there first.
You sound like a really, really sad ex.
Yeah, I'm I'm like an ex that like has like seen my ex go on to do like unbelievable things, and I'm like, I was his first. He loved me, all right, and now look at him. God, he's a fucking superstar. I love him so much. He's so good at football.
I've got nothing further to add to that.
That's what I learned anyway.
I just want to add something that I noticed on the weekend, and I thought it was very, very weird. Channel 7 did obviously the scorecard, and it had no 0 next to the minute countdown. And footy fans in general, we are autistic, notice the little tiny things in footy, and we are very, very particular in the way we like things. That's why we're very nostalgic and very, very selective on what we like and what we don't like. And we're very adamant on what we don't like. And we definitely pronounce that to the world. That's why some of us do a podcast. But
yes,
so we can point this shit out. Now, change your ways, Channel 7. Right. Just put the fucking zero back next to the number and let it be there. Right.
All will be fine.
Why? What's the need for the change? Who the hell? I'd love to know who's come in and gone with an email or a text or just one of your producers inside and gone, maybe we just not have any zero next to the number. Maybe it look better. Maybe it look clearer. Save some space. What? I'm just being petty here, but like, why? Why?
You know what?
What's the need?
Not being petty, because this Channel 7, you ready for me to use some big words? Here we go. Channel 7, right, is a microcosm of what the AFL as a whole is, right? Big word, I know. That's a big word for Elmo. What it is, right, is what they I lost all track of thought. I'm gonna go again. What it is, right, is Channel 7 is much like the AFL in that they are doing unnecessary changes that just do not need nothing is specific. Why? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Nothing is wrong with that scoreboard. Nothing is wrong with that timer. Nobody has once been like, hey, that zero is annoying, get it out of there. Nobody ever has complained about that. You don't need to fix it. It's the exact same as the AFL. When there's a rule change, if there's nothing wrong with it, don't bother trying to fix it. Just leave it as it is. It's fine. It'll be good. Just let it play out. I don't know why they did it. I can't even remember if they did it in the Saints Richmond game today or not. But I saw that and I was like, that looks gross. And it's just it's the little things that the AFL and Channel 7 do to just piss us off just by like that much, you know?
I don't really feel there's a lot of pissed off nature about us at the moment. A lot of things. Like, our team's won and we're like angry and agitated.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like therapy for us.
It's just shouting it out into the void. Just by the end of these, I think it's by the end of these, that's why we're just so like, because it's just like everything is just all the grievances of the AFL are out there.
Tell you that's giving me some, a lot of stress and anxiety is I want to know why Port Adelaide haven't offered Travis Boak a 1-year deal yet.
Surely that's coming like this week, right? Gotta be.
Just, I don't care if he wants to make a decision on his future. Force him to fucking play, Port. You can't be 36 years old running around and hitting targets that no one else can at the MCG. Or maybe the Seagulls because no one else was there. But have I mentioned that bit? The bloke, Travis Boak, was dodging and like weaving in and out of all the D's contested work and the Seagulls and everything else. The man's a gun.
He's a freak. And I think he knows it too. I reckon he knows it.
A bit of cockiness about Trav at the moment.
I reckon he knows it. I reckon he knows that he's very good still. And he's like, I can keep playing. I reckon that's why he's holding out. I reckon he's making a decision on his future. I reckon he's just adding an extra zero to that contract. He's just laying it out a little bit more. Going to keep racking up those 25 touches games. Wait until he gets to finals where he puts on some finals Boak's performances. And then Port just say, oh, here's a little bit of extra money. And then he goes, oh, I suppose I'll sign another year. And then just waltzes his way through.
Yeah, he's just sitting there going, you know what? I took a pay cut last year because I wasn't really sure on what's going to happen for this year. And everyone's like, oh, well, he's going to go one more year. And here we are sitting here going, I'm going to start a GoFundMe for Trav. Port fans can pay for that extra zero.
Yeah.
Because that man is one fine footballer.
Very, very good at football. Mr. Boak.
Yes, he is, Mr. Trav. Yep.
Keep that one in eyesight at all times.
Not allowed to be touched.
Most
anyway, just stop derailing the podcast. Okay? God, you and your Channel 7 thoughts and love for Seagulls. Just ridiculous. Anyway, the 22 under 22 squad got announced during the week. And I figured what a great opportunity would be to do is I'll just read out some names, which are all of them, and we can label a few that could be certainties.
Let's do it.
All right, this is in club order too, which is very, very handy. Actually, no, it's not. It's not in club order. It's in forward,
It's in
mid,
position, but
rucks,
then
and
also it's in position, but also club order within those positions. It's really weird.
this sucks.
Yeah.
Anyway, Josh Rochelle, Kyle Lohman, Elijah Hollins. They put mid, like it's like he's a fantasy player, like he's a mid
But
forward
yeah,
status.
well, I think when you're picking the team, you can put him in either of the two. You can put him in defense or in the mid. But yeah.
But this has got nothing to do with fantasy. You can just put him wherever.
No, but when you're doing the voting, because in the voting you can't just pick a 20, you can't just pick a 22. You have to put him in positions, kind of thing. So Elijah Hollins is in both. Like you can pick him as a defender and as a mid. I think that's what it was last year anyway.
Jai Miss, Josh Tracy, yeah, I'm having a stroke. Connor McDonald, Jack Ginnivan, Jacob Van Royen, Paul Curtis, Logan McDonald, Jamara Ugle-Hagan, Jake Saligo, Nick Dacos, Oliver Dempsey, who's a fucking gun, man. Tanner Bruin, Sam Closey, Finn Callahan, Massimo D'Ambrosio, Caleb Windsor, Tom Powell, Harry Sheasel, George Wardlaw, Jace Burgoyne, Jason Horne-Francis, Errol Goulden, Harley Reid, Ruben Ginby, Luke Jackson, Sam Darcy, Max Michaelani, Darcy Wilmot, Josh Draper, Max Holmes, Bodie Euland.
Yep.
Didn't know his name was spelt like that. Mac
Yep.
Andrew, Josh Weddle, Judd McVie, Colby McKercher, Nasiah Wangani-Malira, and Brady.
Brady Heimlich maneuver. Yeah. Brady Heimlich. That's his new nickname. His new nickname is Heimlich.
Anyway, it's a pretty talented list.
Yes.
It's a very hard one to pick. Now, a couple of standouts for me that besides Jace Burgoyne and Jason Horne-Francis, because they're a couple of Jaces. I don't know. One of them is Connor McDonald. I think he's one of the more underrated talents going around in the comp at the moment, and is one of the reasons why Hawthorn are dead set going to new heights. And that's because players like him, and you can throw in Jack Ginnivan in there and also D'Ambrosio as well, but like these are the players that are leading this young Hawks team that are just the baby Hawks 2.0. They're just coming along nicely. And Connor McDonald's definitely one. The other one, which, and I haven't mentioned him, but I think he's definitely been the reason why Freo are still in good nick at the moment, and that is Josh Tracy. This bloke is gonna be an outright star. Just wish they would not spell it as weirdly, but besides the point, he is a gun. I'm like scared of him, and
big boy.
He would have like a real lion roar, I reckon.
Yeah, bit of fucking like got a lot behind him.
Bit of gut about it.
Yeah, he's a big boy, big scary boy. Oh, Josh Tracy.
So yeah, there are a couple that I pinpointed out, and obviously, you're gonna pick your Nick Dacos, your Horne-Francis, Ugle-Hagan's in there, Sheasel, Nasiah Wangani-Malira, Sam Darcy, Errol Goulden. Basically picking the team as it is, but I think there should be a few surprises in there. I think this is where the fans vote for this, and I'll ask for your couple in a second, but the fans vote for this starts to probably take away a bit from it, is because I don't think fans vote for their players and the names they know, unless you're us who watch everything and know, or people. Fans are not dumb, but like they'll obscure the voting, I think, a little bit. But have you got a couple that stand out for you?
But like my first thoughts on the thing are this might be the most players in this 22 under 22 team that are like that close to a Brownlow. Like a lot of the time these players are like really good, but they're not quite that kind of Brownlow caliber. You look at a bunch of players in that list, Nick Dacos, Harry Sheasel, Errol Goulden. Those three players are pretty like gonna finish pretty high in the Brownlow, finished pretty high in the Brownlow last year, one of the like there's a lot of those players that are like already the top stars of the competition kind of thing, which is a rare sight to see. Obviously there's always players that are good in it, but I don't think there's quite as many like near dead set Brownlow favorites as possible. It is a really talented list. Josh Tracy was definitely one of mine that I was thinking like you have to put him in. There's also in this year, it's one of those ones where there's been a lot of players that have just kind of come out of nowhere and really announced themselves. Massimo D'Ambrosio is one of them. I think if you're going to pick a player in this team that has made, first off, such a massive improvement from last year, Massimo improvement. That was so good. I was happy with that. He's made like a huge improvement from last year, obviously, but he's also like one of the highest rated wingers in the comp in a very, very good Hawks team. Him, along with Connor McDonald, like you said, have been so impressive. And I think that's a thing that is going to go unnoticed is that he should probably be in there, but it's so stacked and much like the All-Australian team, I think they're not going to give a lot of love to the wingers, especially when they've got so many midfielders in here. And that's what leads me to the point of what you said there, where a lot of the club voters are going to skew how these things go because don't know if this is a hot take at all, really. I don't think Harley Reid should be in there. I don't think he should be in the 22,
No.
the end 22. I think players like Massimo D'Ambrosio, for their position and for how their team is going, have been better in that kind of sense. There is no doubt in my mind that Harley Reid is going to be in the next 3 or 2 or whatever the case may be, but I don't think he should be in it this year kind of thing. And then if we're talking just other players, obviously Nazaya is one for me that is obvious for me. Like it's he's a very good footballer, obviously. One of the better halfbacks going around in the comp right now. Like he's a pretty obvious pick for mine anyway. And another one for me that I think kind of goes underrated this year because it's kind of that thing of he doesn't play in Victoria or he's not in a massive sort of football loving state is Kai Lohmann. Kai Lohmann has been really, really good for Brisbane this year. And when they have made their improvements this year, he has improved with them. And I think he's kind of that smoky for he won't get a lot of votes because I don't think a lot of Brisbane fans are going to vote him in, but I think he should be in it over the likes of Harley Reid or someone like that. But the fan voting thing might skew it to the point where he might not make it. But I think Kai Lohmann is well deserved to be in there because he has had a really good year. Like he's been a fantastic forward for Brisbane, and there is a reason they are so good, and he's one of them.
Yeah, I agree with that because I think there's names on this list that are in there purely because they're just under 22.
And a famous sort of name, like not a famous sort of, but like, like famous within their clubs kind of,
Not even that. I think it's just because, that's their name. Like then for the namesake, like, Josh Rochelle.
Yeah.
I think Jack Ginnivan, hasn't had I think he's had a good year, but like he's in there because he's,
exactly.
Logan McDonald is one that, kicks his goals and had a great first portion of the year, but then dropped off. Like, I think even Tanner Bruin you could throw in there has been good for Geelong, but like not completely outstanding. Even I don't know. Well, there's a couple of others on the list that you can, and Harley Reid probably comes in there as well because he's just the namesake, and you probably have to do that with him anyway. But I think like the under 22, people don't treat it as a massive accolade. I think it's just more of a thing for people to sort of talk about, like, oh, who's the best kid in the game right now? Josh Weddle is one for me. Josh Weddle for me. He could be. He could be. If you're catching my drift, he could be.
Yeah. See that goal he kicked? Yeah.
Every photo after the game, that selfie.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Jumping early into that segment. My other thing about that team, which I find really, really funny, there are so many players in there that I did not think were under 22 still. Luke Jackson, I swear to God, has been under 22 for about 7 years. The fact that he is under 22 and he has won a premiership, he's moved back home, earns like $800K a year. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know what really upsets me? Is the fact that I wouldn't be on this team, right? Like I am now to the point where my age is out of this bracket. These players are all younger than me. Luke Jackson is earning like $800K a year. And I'm like, that's cool, man. Thanks for that.
Jared, if you're looking for sympathy, it's in the dictionary between shit and syphilis. All right? I'm 27 years old. Okay. I missed this team by half a decade. I don't think this was a fucking thing when I was 22 years
I was
old. All
going to
right.
say they haven't been doing this for that long, no.
No. Oh, thanks for that, by the way. Just fucking little cheeky. Oh, yeah,
No, I
pop
was
my
saying like
tire,
I
don't
actually
you?
don't remember when they
Fucking
started doing this.
unbelievable.
Actually,
Like, just, yeah.
that's another thing that I was going to say. I don't know when they started doing this team. When did this become as big a thing as it actually is now?
Don't really care, to be honest.
Fair.
All I have to say is good on them. Congratulations. As long as you stick to the hype and you be good as a 22-year-old and continue on, then by all means, congratulations on the recognition. But at the same time, don't rub it in my face that you're 5, 6 years younger than me. Okay.
Luke Jackson has filled in that role of what Max King used to be, where it felt like Max King was in there every fucking year. It felt like Max King was in there for fucking my whole life. And I was like, how long can you actually be under 22 for? And now he's finally out of there. I'm
You
like,
know, and now that you bring this up, Luke Jackson is the epitome of that scene in Benchwarmers where the bloke brings out
I
his
am 12.
ID, I am 12, and he's just
That
rocking
is
up
Luke
to this
Jackson.
meeting.
I swear to God.
And Luke Jackson's rocking up with a fucking bourbon and coke, and he's just got the I am 12 ID.
I am 12. I am 22, he says as he
I am
walks
22.
out Players Association. Like, no, you fucking are not. Him, Logan McDonald's another one. And
Logan
Jamara.
McDonald looks 50.
Yeah, and Jamara, I think, is the other one, just because I feel like I've been hearing about Jamara for ages. I'm like, how can you all be under 22? Like,
Yeah.
what
Jamara's going to be the next buddy I've been hearing for the last 12 years, I reckon.
exactly. Like, what the
Ever
fuck?
since he popped out and became a thing, like he's just, he's going to be the next buddy.
Bizarre.
Anyway, all of these people, players, I should say, they're great quality. They're all a bit of, all a bit unsung heroes, some would say.
Good segue. Solid segue.
Which brings me to the question, who is your club's unsung hero? Which was what we did for Around the Glass Table this week.
Yes, I get it up now.
What about the question?
That's usually a joke that we say for not on the.
It's 2 a.m. in the morning. We're recording this. It's been a long day. We're going to get up for work in 3.5 hours. Just, you can, see why I have a bit of tension.
That needs to be released, you say?
Really, the glass table up late, isn't it?
Glass table after dark. Remember Big Brother used to do Big Brother after dark?
That was my reference to up late. Because I was like, what are we talking about?
No. Anyway, unsung hero. I asked who is your club's unsung hero. And you. One of the responses I see is from Anthony Alessiani, who says Miles Bergman.
Man's hot. Anthony Alessiani bloke. Miles Bergman too.
Hmm?
Anyway, Miles Bergman is a star.
Yeah, he's a freak.
Just unsung.
Good at football. Very good at football. He's old Miles.
Pure. I would run Miles for him. Anyway, Damo Supercoach came in with Bailey Banfield, which I really liked.
I love that's a perfect one. That is exactly what I was looking for when I was looking for an unsung hero. Bailey Banfield. I like that one. Well, the other one I said here, well, there's a lot of Port ones, funnily enough. One here from Daniel Power said Willem Drew or Miles Bergman. I think Willem Drew is is the kind of one of the epitomes of one of these things. Willem Drew is, I think, very, very unsung in the way he goes about things.
Great leader. Great, I think mentor for people how to come through the system and build your way into a team. A lot of comparisons to him and like Roger James back in the day. And I think the way he just builds himself and continues to do the job every week, like he's just a really, really reliable human, a really, really reliable player. And I think with Willem, like to have that in your team, it's rare because you don't get that consistency every single week. And he might not have 25, 30 touches, but he'll have his 15, 20. but have his 5-10 tackles, do a job on a Clayton Oliver, or the other week he was doing a job on Chad Warner, and it was just being absolutely insane. Like, he just does the job. That is a definition of unsung hero. And I really, really laughed when he said to Clary that even that shit house about a decision. It was so funny, which shows me Willem Drew not only is an unsung hero, he's not only someone you can rely on, but he can take the fucking piss.
And that's exactly what you need in like, it's the perfect qualities in a footballer, is all of those things combined into one, because he's not taking himself too seriously. He's not going to go out every week and be like, I am a stand-up citizen, but he can have a bit of fun, you know? Like, he's a good quality person for this. And he's a perfect idea for unsung hero, I say.
Well, I think we just found our clip for the week.
Bang. I saw you writing that down. I saw you go in the notes like Drew.
I was drawing him. Or Willem drawing him. I don't know.
Yeah.
It took us probably an hour to get to the point where I could finally say we talked enough football sense to put it on a clip.
This and the Seagull rant is top of my list currently right now, and probably the Sam Mitchell Coach of the Year thing, because that's the pull in one, you know, that's the one that gets the clicks, that's the one that gets the TikTok comments rolling in where people are like, "Fuck you," and I'm like, "Thanks, man."
This is normally a discussion we have after.
We're doing it live. Don't you worry about it. We're all good.
Because it's 2:45 a.m. in the morning. We're just doing everything.
This time is flying out here. I'm pretty sure it was 2 a.m. about 5 minutes ago.
Time flies when you're having fun, Jared.
Any other comments you liked?
Renee does her typical run sheet for
Name the entire Port Adelaide list. Yeah, absolutely.
Which she's absolutely correct with. I also like Scotty's. So both of them mentioned Dan Houston. It's funny that Dan Houston gets brought up to have his contracts. Yeah, because he's an All-Australian and everything, but also it's been made to sound like he's not that good from other people and other fans because he's like apparently wanting to go home.
Yeah.
But everyone said the same thing about who was it that wanted to go home but never been? Oh, Ollie Wines has been a trade rumor for, I reckon, like we were saying before about the under-22 team, like
12 years.
My whole life he's wanted to go home, apparently. So
yeah.
I don't know. I don't see Dan Houston as an unsung hero. I find him as probably more of a sung hero, you know. But like,
I was gonna say, he's just a hero. I think he's just the definition of just a hero.
He almost kicked a goal from the exact same spot Saturday night he did against Essendon last year to win the game, and I nearly.
That would have been the end. That would have been explosions.
Oh, I was Houston Rocket. Like, I nearly
strapped. He was strapped.
I went to the stratosphere after that. But some good responses, I think, from that, because yeah, there's a lot of unsung heroes in the league, and we've obviously talked about them. There's quite a few.
Yeah, my one that I said as my thing was he's not really unsung anymore because he's probably about to get paid a lot of money, but he was unsung for. This is much like the Ollie Wines trade rumors in the 2022. Josh Battle has been an unsung hero at St Kilda for about 9 years, it feels like, and he just consistently does it. And he kind of showed it more today. I saw more today about how people were like, "Wow, Josh Battle is actually really good," than I've seen in a long time. And I'm like, "Yeah, we've been telling you this." Like, Josh Battle is a really good football player. He's a really good utility. Like, I think there isn't a lot of good utilities rolling around. Obviously, Mark Blitzarves is the normal one that everyone mentions, but there isn't a lot of just decent utilities rolling around. That is what Josh Battle is.
Yeah, 100%. And like we mentioned before, I think I told you off air too that he was playing a really, really good game today. He's going to get paid about 800K, and he's gone. I think Hawthorn was the main target, so he's definitely
Hawthorn's his go.
Definitely battled his way through the ranks, hasn't he?
Solid one. That one was right there for you too. Like that one, you know, when they sometimes just fall into your lap and you can just be like, "Yeah, I got this."
I wish they fell into my lap sometimes, but
also,
unfortunately,
there you could go.
No, you're on the moment.
the horrors.
Continue. Take over. It's your podcast as well. Yeah, go for it. Right, we're frozen again.
No, we're not actually.
Gonna have to edit this thing. It's gonna take years. It's 4:45 in the morning, and here we are.
Holy fucking hell. Time is flying. The only other unsung hero that I wanted to talk about that didn't get mentioned here because apparently Richmond fans are not active on social media.
Would you be?
Mr. Tom Brown. Tom Brown.
Seven news. Tom
Seven
Brown.
News is Tom Brown, the one that then plays for Richmond but didn't play today. He is, and I think I saw you say it one day. He might be one of the best kicks in the entire competition.
He is one of the best kicks in the entire competition.
He's
I could make a ranking system of who's the best kicks. It
Him
would
and
be
Kane
Dan
Farrell.
Houston,
Oh, yeah,
Kane Farrell, Tom Brown. I would say Naz is in there as well.
Naz is definitely up there. Yeah, absolutely.
There's a few of them that are just
Hayden Young is absolutely up there. I think
Oh.
he is one of the most unsung heroes because no one even gives a shit about him. But I'm like, he's such a good footballer. Like he's a really good kick of the ball, and I'm like, wow, you're really good.
I know. I love a good kicker.
Aaron Sipos. That's half a reference to what we talk about off this podcast. So on it as well.
Funny enough, also at 2 a.m. in the morning. I think people have started to gather that
We talk a lot outside of this podcast. Yeah.
all hours of the morning. We don't really sleep, to be honest.
No, we just ticked over into 5:30, so we're really pushing through. I think you got to leave for work in a second.
You know what? Some people don't have that, and that's what's so stupidly sexy about our relationship, Jared.
Nice. It was a good solid. That was a solid way through. I liked it a lot.
That also sums up our friendship as well. Pretty solid all the way through.
Solid all the way through and liked it a lot. By the music. Stupid sexy AFL players.
All right, stupid sexy time. You know, I'm going to go first because,
Yeah.
you know, you've ruined pretty much the momentum of this podcast with your stupid internet. So, time I stood up and took a moment for me for a change. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, what you can see right now is the cutest smile you ever see, right? Because he can't understand what anger is, and he try and process it, but he sits there. Look at him; he can't even process it. And he sits there and he puts the super sexy face on, and then he just like pierces your eyes. And anyway, so my stupid sexy this week is a repeat. I'm pretty sure we're both repeating because few and far between of the AFL season, and people at the moment aren't attracting us a lot. But there's one person at the moment who continuously just breaks barriers. And this man, I don't know if you're a fan outside of Port Adelaide and you still are slandering this bloke, booing him, giving him grief, then really, 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 really think about who you are as a human being and what you consider talent. Because this bloke is the most talented footballer in the AFL. And what he did on the weekend, his game, he had 8 disposals in 5 minutes of footy, the last 5 minutes of the game. He had, I think it was like, he kicked 2 goals early. He was just unbelievable, saved the game for Port. Speaking of Jason Horne-Francis, and I've mentioned him here before purely for the fact that he wears his socks up. Mind you, Port socks on the weekend with a little teal stripe around the middle. A bit average, but besides the point. Bloke's a gun. I love him as a footballer. And I think he's going to be one hell of a player to watch for every AFL fan going forward for the next. We speak about under 22, like the 22 under 22. I'm going to watch this bloke for 10 years in Port Adelaide colours, and I could not be more excited.
He is a freak of nature. I do not understand the. Okay, North supporters, fine, right? Boo. Anybody else? Like, what are we doing, really? Like, it'd be like if we booed Luke Jackson. Nobody boos Luke Jackson. Like, I don't know. Like, it's fucking bizarre that people just boo him just for like shits and gigs and I don't know, just all these different things. I don't know what it is. He is so good at football. And Jason Horne-Francis has these games where every now and then he will be far and wide the best player on the field. Like, far and wide. And he absolutely shits on everybody else. And when he gets to that age where it's not just like an every 4th game, every 5th game, when it's an every single game thing, he is going to be unbelievable. And I think that's the best part about him is that he's not just great now. He's going to be unbelievable.
This is the thing. You mentioned the games and like him doing it um, every so often. It's a greatly mentioned it because this year in particular, you've seen the gap per game closing and closing and closing. Like it's almost you've gone from every 6 or 7 weeks last year to every 2 or 3 weeks now, and he's having his 2 and his 20, and it's just so damaging. And I love it, and it's just amazing. And like I said, if we're not going to lose for the rest of the year, and that's simply because Jason Horne-Francis is
Good at
football.
football. Yeah.
You?
My one, again, I'm also repeating, like we said, because like we said, that we're running out of players to choose, to be honest. And I've already mentioned him today, in fact, because it's too hard to not mention him, to be honest with you. Every time that face just pops up on the screen, you know what I love most about this guy? Not the fact that he's the best ruckman in the comp, not the fact that he's tearing teams apart limb from limb. It's the fact that every time he kicks a goal, the camera cuts to him and he has a smile you cannot fucking wipe
I
off.
can't believe you're stealing my Tristan Cherry moment again. Like,
I saw your face change when I said best ruckman in the comp, and I was like, what is he doing? I can see you fucking planning it. Rowan Marshall, ladies and gentlemen, he has the greatest smile in the AFL, and he just loves playing footy. You can just tell that he loves playing footy. Every time he kicks a goal, he just gets all excited and does his big whatever the fuck this double cobra action is, but it's like forward. It's really weird. I love him. He's so awkward. Like he's a tall, awkward man, and he's just the best. And again, he is a freak, and he does it every single week. There is not a single week that goes by where he doesn't play good football, and he just loves it. And like I also loved earlier this year, there was all these trade rumors, and he came out that week and was straight up like, no, like I like it here. I don't want to go anywhere. And I was like, yeah, good. I like you too. And then I saw it like a highlight thing from like a little while ago now, and I forgot that he used to be number 43 as well. And I'm like,
oh yeah,
I'm like, that's awesome. Like, it was just when he was playing like 2 games a year for us, he was 43, and I was like, that's so good. I just love everything about him. He's the best.
it's amazing how these ruckmen come through. They're wearing big numbers. They get a couple of games throughout the year, and yeah, now look at him.
You could see him just slowly build their way into it. It's so good. Tristan Cherry did the same thing. He played like 1 game, 2 games. He just slowly built, and now he's like again one of the best ruckmen in the comp. I love ruckman AFL careers are my favorite because they'll get drafted, and the first 5 years they will not play a game, and then all of a sudden they're playing 22 games a year, averaging 25 hitouts, and you're like, where the fuck did that come from?
Yeah,
It's the best.
and they just have that year where they're just sensational.
Yep, exactly right. The best. Love you, Rowan.
Oh, that's stupid sexy, which means that leads us into one thing that we haven't done that people absolutely froth
Prof.
is hearing about our local footy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just quickly, how'd you go?
I I didn't play great. I was very sick during the game, like I was saying. It was very hot. I was very sick. We won, however, which is good. But my individual performance, not very good. Threw up more times than I probably had the ball. So that's a good stat that we're rolling with.
Far out. So we're rolling with stats like more Seagulls and attendance at the footy, and now you've thrown up more times than you touch the footy.
Yeah, that's the stat we're going with. So that's a good one for the day.
I don't mind it. Well, at least you got out there.
Yeah, we got out there, which is good. How did you go on the weekend?
Touched it 45 times, took 30 marks, and took home a check. So that's how pretty much well we went. Lost by nearly 80 points again, but hey, no, we lost by 90 actually. But it's fine. Finals is still on the cards.
So that's all that matters. Finals footy.
1 round to go. Got to win big.
Happy days.
Take that to the bank. It's possible play finals.
Bang bang. There we go. That's an Anthony Elisiani guarantee, everybody.
Death, taxes, and Ant gets the check.
Money in the bank, baby.
I might as well walk into every week with a briefcase, hey?
Rose was walking with your hand out. Just give me a cash. Don't worry about the check, mate.
Do I take the photo before or after the game? Anywho, let's do pack v pack, huh?
Oui.
Oh, yeah, let's open.
Open.
Oh. Thank God you're showing it on the screen this time. Last week I had to try and edit that.
What the?
You were opening the pack and all I could see was your face squinting like you were trying very hard.
I did. ASMR.
You go first.
I go first. Top of the pack. Ooh, well, not bad at football. Probably the Brownlow medalist, Patrick Cripps.
Probably the Brownlow medalist. Interesting.
I'd say so.
Mine is probably going to, he's not to that level, but probably would keep him very quiet on the day if they played one-on-one, and that'd be Cal Wilkie.
Not bad. Good pick. Solid pick. Saw someone put him in the All Australian team the other day.
Last year's team, probably.
I would say so, considering he was in there.
Jared's been watching last year's highlights again.
Why wouldn't I? We made finals. We have
Well, I miss.
Been missing
followed that up. Jordan Dawson.
Good at football.
Wow. With a Port player on there.
I was going to say, was that a showdown pick? It looked like it. We have a man who I don't actually think has played a game of football. Has he played this year? No, I don't even remember. Christian Salem. I think he's played this year at some point. He was injured for a vast majority.
He's played many games this year.
I feel like he was injured for a lot of the year, no?
Played on the weekend.
Well, he might have played on the weekend, but I feel like he missed a bunch of games.
Oh, he's missed a bunch of games, but he's also played a lot.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry, I forgot you missed like half a year in Vegas.
I didn't watch a lot of
still there.
I didn't watch a lot of Melbourne games, unfortunately. They're not exactly my cup of tea.
Feels like we're recording Vegas time the way it fucking is going at the moment. 8:30 a.m. in the morning. I've missed the first 2 hours of work. Anyway, Brody Myercheck.
That's a guy that's missing games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cam Rayner having a genuine purple patch right now. One of the best players in the league right now, Cam Rayner.
I'm about to nail you with LDU.
Good at football.
I feel like I've had him a couple of times actually.
Can play LDU. We have a player that should have played today, unfortunately did not, but is a future star of our competition, Matthias Filippo.
I rate that. But I've also got a future star in Hugh McGuggage.
Not bad. Very, very good.
Also having a purple patch at the moment.
We have another St Kilda player, my second, and in a row, Brad Crouch. He's been missing pretty much all year, which is good.
That's a bloke that has missed games.
Yeah, that is certainly one.
Go fish. That's incredible.
I'm seeing double. Hi, Brad.
Hello, Brad. Like a fourth wall break inside a fourth wall break. That's like 16 Brad Crouches.
So many Brads. Oh, shit.
Very funny.
Oh, what the fuck is going on? My third St Kilda player in a row. This one's a bit fancy. Little Jack Steele star powers. Giving you a bit of rainbow action on the camera.
Bit of steely. Don't mind.
Hell, looks nice.
Mine is a fancy Joe Danaher.
Oh, good at football. Can play. I then have somebody
Let it go. Let it go. I don't know why this is my song, but let it go. Let it go. Yeah.
I did not see that coming. My God.
They never do, really.
I have a player that, if you were to talk to any Pies fan, I think they're not very happy with him this year, and that is Lockie Schultz. Not a well loved player in Potato Pies lane.
Went out for dinner on Saturday night just to give you a bit of a story, and went out for dinner and one of my mates I haven't seen in a while. He's a Collingwood supporter, and we were talking about the game and everything, and he goes like, the first thing he literally mentioned was Lockie Schultz is one of the worst recruits of all time. So you can clearly say, yeah, there's a lot that they're feeling about that one. Matt Crouch, nothing more to say.
We've got Brad and Mac Crouch just rolling around. And then my final one, my final one, who is kind of seemingly not in the greatest of graces for the Blues fans at the minute. I don't think it's his fault necessarily. I think it's the midfield as a whole. Adam Chera is my final
That's
card.
the song I came up for him. Adam Chera, yeah, you can be my Adam Chera, yeah. Is it one of the OG Stupid Sexies?
You should send that through to the Carlton Cheer Squad.
They couldn't pay me anywhere near the amount, and I'm pretty sure they don't like me, so it's fine. But you know where to find me. Speaking of, Harry Mackay.
Harry Mackay. He's going to have to step up massively if the Blues are going to play finals.
Ready? I can reenact his 2023 goal kicking.
Oh, no.
To the left, to the left.
If the Carlton Cheer Squad didn't like you before, they do not like you now.
Why don't they cards have the Guernseys on the back, but the common ones do?
The what?
That's a common card.
Yeah,
This
why?
is
Yeah,
a
why?
fancy
Why
looking
that's
one. They don't have.
not?
They don't have it.
It's boring. Just a QR code.
QR. Oh,
Oh, it was good.
of all the words
Oh, it was pretty good.
in the world, QR code.
That one was. That one was a good one. Wow.
Anywho, if you want to click on the QR code, you can go and vote. No, you can't really do that. I wish you could. Pick the better side.
Yes.
Pretty sure no one voted last week. Oh no, they did. I think I won. Actually.
Yes. Yes.
I continue. It was a close one though.
Yes, it was actually very, very close. I thought my team was better, but that's fine.
So we'll send out the picture again and people can vote, and yeah, we'll see how it all pans out and goes. But other than that, I think we're done pretty well and pretty much us wrapped up again.
Pretty much. The only other thing I want to touch on, because we were speaking about it and we've been speaking about it all weekend as well, is it is fantasy / Supercoach finals this weekend as a whole. Like people just like it's that time of the season where everyone starts giving you shit again. Really cool. And I just want to say, in terms of mine, you were talking obviously before about how Rowan Marshall has pretty much single-handedly just pumped you into a prelim final. My team has been severely helped this week by the fact that I dropped a 2-6-5-7 in Supercoach, which is disgusting. And I have looked through all the leagues that I'm in and I've top scored. And I would just, because like it usually takes a day for the Supercoach thing to reset, I would love to see where I end up. I reckon I'm going to be like a top 5%er, which is very exciting. Very exciting come finals time. Thanks to Tristan Jerry for that, by the way. He fucking dominated. Also, Heaney, he was my captain. He jumped to 144. So thanks, boys. really dragged me through.
Yeah, we've had two very successful. Obviously, you did the Supercoach side of things. I did the fantasy side of things, and yeah, you can safely say that we're a happy team at Hawthorn essentially this week because I've dropped a couple of big scalps. There's one league that I'm in. I finished 8th, scraped in by percentage, and I've just come in, knocked off the big dog, the big commissioner of the draft, and then follow up next week.
I've had one like that as well. Yeah,
and I just absolutely
I've had one like that as well.
Barreled out the favourite in the semi-finals. So he's gone out in straight sets, and here I am doing a bit of a Giants action, coming through the field and finishing up in a prelim. The other draft league, started at 1-7, That was my start, and now
Nice.
I finished 5th, and now I'm in a prelim there as well.
Drag. That was a Brisbane. That's a Brisbane spec. So you're a Giants in one of them. You're a Brisbane in that one.
What essentially that means is I'm fucking huge.
I am dominating.
I am him.
I had a similar thing in one of mine. I finished 8th, scraped in on percentage, and then beat 5th, and then I just beat 2nd place, who has gone out in straight sets. So I'm now scraped into a prelim in one of mine, which is very exciting. And I like the player I'm going against only this week only scored like a 2-3, and I'm like, oh man, you're on toast. I got you. Don't you worry about that. I
Imagine
got
scoring a 2-3 and then you lose percentage because you've lost by 300 points.
Better fuck that guy. So watch out, my prelim opponent, whoever that may be. But yeah, I'm on a tear at the minute.
Well, if we're definitely threatening opponents, then I have one thing to do to the 2 opponents that I particularly want to showcase what I think of the results on the weekend, and that's just simply Jeremy Clarkson meme. I'm just
Very happy boy. Very happy boy down at Stupid Sexy Pairs.
such a good name.
It's all time. That is all time.
You know what they can do as well? Just before we finish up, it's just simply you can absolutely suck on my stupid sex